rhubarb. This is my studio, and so I came to record the episode. As one does when they have a job. Anyway, since we're both here, you should be doing your job. Part of which is to make sure that people are not using my studio as a storage space, which is happening currently. So you're not really doing a great job, now are you, Jordan? Anyway. Let's see, what do we have here? It looks like... Oh. Today's episode seems to be titled The Crying Boy? Does that sound right, Jordan? Regardless of why you're here, Jordan, or how you're here, in fact, part of your job is to make sure that they are not using my studio as storage space, because here we are again with a giant thing in my studio, and I do not appreciate that. But since it's in my studio, I suppose we will find out what this paper-wrapped package is. Huh. That's not great. This is a picture of a crying boy. Very old painting by the looks of it. Why is this in my studio, Jordan? And of course, Jordan is gone when you need an answer. Welcome back, horror and scared fans. We're here on Possessed Pixel with another haunting tale of terror. I'm the narrator. Let's discover what spooky thing has been left in my studio today. This is my first time looking through the notes left here on our cursed item. And here I thought the production team was still using my recording space for a storage closet. All right. So here with me is a painting. It's a disheveled boy that looks to be about 5 years old, tears streaking down his face. The color palette is muddy, heavy on the beige side. If it's supposed to evoke something, it's missed the mark for sure, if I'm being honest. Maybe something my grandma would have in her basement in the 80s? My notes say this is a mass-produced painting by an Italian painter by the name of Giovanni Brigolin around the 1950s. Brigolin himself was a fairly normal guy. He painted a series of crying boys much like the one that's in my studio right now. Crying at me and staring. No, really, it's not that bad. But anyway, Brigolin. Jordan? Yeah, why wouldn't I show up? No, I'm doing it now. I got the notes. They were literally... Why wouldn't I be? It was on the schedule. Well, I was hoping that I could get a heads up on what I'm doing rather than show up and think the studio's getting shuttered. Can we not put the props in here or, like, let me know ahead of time? Yeah, sure, Jordan, thanks. Can you just get me a cup of matcha from the place down the block? My throat's a little, you know. It would be a great pick-me-up after this. Thanks! Okay, we'll fix that in post. I thought the rest of the team was more professional than... It's fine. Back to it. Brigolin, the artist of the Crying Boy painting, didn't have a lot written about him despite his painting being somewhat infamous. He was born in Italy, studied to be a painter, and lived his life. No nefarious undertones, no wicked drama, or at least nothing on record saying otherwise. But it's his one particular painting where the trouble starts. In 1985, Peter Hall, a Yorkshire fireman, said that fire brigades in northern England had reported a number of the same paintings turning up in house fires across the country. But to his surprise, the Crying Boy paintings were unscathed. Another mystery came to light during their investigations. The cause of these Crying Boy painting fires were never found. Peter brought this to the attention of his brother, Ron Hall. Ron thought the whole notation of Peter's story was a hoax, and to prove to Peter that the painting curse was a stuff of nonsense, Ron purchased a Crying Boy painting himself. Unfortunately for Ron, the curse of the painting didn't wait long. Ron's home burned down shortly after his purchase, and, of course, we all know what was left in the ashes. The Crying Boy painting. Ron's reaction was correct. When he saw the painting being removed from the rubble that was once his home intact, he booted it. He had to be a believer of the curse now. And the Crying Boy didn't stop with Ron Hall. This kid wept disaster and house fires throughout England. Through the rest of 1985, similar incidents occurred. Dora Brand's home went to flame only 6 weeks after she bought the painting. Dora had many other paintings, but the crying boy was the only one to weather the flames. Sandra Krask's family and friend were also plagued by the cursed painting. All of them reported fires shortly after buying the crying boy. Shortly after, a pizza place called Perio Pizza Palace went up in flames too, and can we guess what painting was front and center at this place? Weird to have crying kid in a pizza place, but maybe that was their vibe. I don't know. You guessed it, and I think we can guess what particularly cursed painting survived another fire. The crying boy, yet again. And a few days later, the Godper family suffered an unexplained fire with the crying boy surviving the flames, despite all of the other paintings and pictures swallowed by the flames. The very next day, 2 paintings of the crying boy were the sole surviving pictures in the Amos family home. Is it really 2? Yeah, it says so in the notes, but 2 paintings of this kid? Really? Okay. The Amos home was taken out by a gas explosion, yet the twin painting stayed untouched. In November of that same year, the painting took the lives of a husband and 3 sons, leaving a woman in shambles. She destroyed the crying boy painting that survived the fire that claimed her family's lives. The stories continue in these same fiery disasters, and always, the crying boy is the one that survives the fire. There are a few theories about why this is the case, with the artist not being particularly cursed, and the painting itself being mass-produced without so much as a nefarious art publisher, leaves a lot of questions as to why this crying tyke is at the root of such destruction and heartache. From the information I have here, and a soft thank you to our team's production assistant, Jordan, I can make a few theories. Giovanni Bregolin himself was a normal, maybe even boring by art standards, artist that had unusual subjects. Now, hear me out, it gets a little wild. Perhaps he tapped into the soul of a tortured orphan boy with the likes of Damien Thorne of The Omen, Samara Morgan of The Ring fame, or the possessed Regan McNeil in The Exorcist. What if by capturing the visual of this crying boy, the paint brought in something more sinister? An outlet for something truly evil. A vessel, and what was mass-produced and sold to innocent families. They had no idea what kind of thing they were buying, and for that, they suffer the consequences. I'm saying that the boy he painted was a manifestation of evil. And by giving the boy an outlet, it allowed his malevolence and destruction to spread. Most of my other theories spawn off of that basis. Bregolin didn't know what he had done by picking this kid as a muse. Maybe in this theory, the boy had already passed, and when Bregolin painted the likeness, it brought... Jordan! Jordan, open the door! Jordan! Why is it so hot in here?